Good evening, people. It's a good evening for me, I guess. So I wanted to do a video a long time ago, but I had to beg my dad to borrow his passive pot. So many of us audio guys that do audio like to do different ways to improve our audio. Certain people will try so many different things, from cables to lifting the cables off the floor to almost anything to get better audio. But I wonder how many people actually take out their preamp and try a passive one. So this is basically just a volume control with some connectors on the outside. Right? This one's actually 100K with 4 RC8 connectors in a nice tube that's grounded, so when you touch it, you don't get any pops and ticks. But I wonder how many people have actually tried it. Now, when I ran my Class A amplifiers, my mini elves that I still swear by, still really like, I ran one of these. Mine was a little bit different. Dad's is a little bit fancier because he has some tools to make some shiny stuff. Nice case. And I ran one, and I think I ran a 100K pot, probably a 100K pot, into a Alps Black Beauty. And when I went to one of my audio fests, I brought my preamp, passive one, and some of these said, "Hey, what's that?" And I said, "Well, it's a passive preamp." "Well, how is it supposed to make it go louder?" And I said, "How is it a preamp? It's not preamplifying anything." And I said, "Well, depending on the source, some sources work really well, some don't. You have to have a source that has some good output, so maybe 2 volts to 3 volts out, or your amplifier has to be really sensitive on the input stage." The Elf Minis are kind of sensitive, but it depends on room level, and it also depends on the speakers. Like if you have really efficient speakers, you don't really need much power, and thus you don't need much gain. This works perfect. So they said, "Well, let's try it." So I had the lid off of mine, and I had this cheap $10 Alps pod in my original first one that I tried with some silver wire and some fancy connectors on it, and just had stuff laying around a junk box, and I hooked it up, and lots of guys liked it. They were like, "Holy, like, difference in sound." Like, some guys had 2 preamps, some had some FET design preamps, some had a couple Cambridge Audio, a nice name one, and so one of the guys said, "Well, let's unhook it from that. Let's change out over downstairs to this other system that we're listening to and see what it sounds like there." Another, "Holy, it sounds great." So I've been telling lots of people, try a passive pot, see what you think and what it sounds like. Not everything has to be active and powered. So I scored Dad's pot from him, and I thought I'd do a video for you guys and show you what's inside of this, and like encourage people to try a passive pot on their stereo amplifier. Not gonna hurt anything. Just take out your preamp, turn the volume down, put some RCA jacks in a little case. This one's fancy. I'm gonna take the back cover off and show you what's inside. Nothing special. And try it. I sure still really enjoy a passive pot because it's nice and clean. You don't have to worry about audio junk inside, like switch mode power supplies or a regulated power supply that's not really doing so well, or some overpriced piece of equipment. So give it a shot. This one's got a fancy wood on it and improves the bass. Just joking. It's just there so it doesn't spin and roll off the table. So I'll take the screw out of it and I'll show you. Very simple design. So I'm not gonna take the front cover off. I don't think oh, it does come off. I don't want to take it apart too much. Dad lent it to me and told me not to break it. Screw fell of it, Dad. Sorry, had to show. So we got a long screw. That long screw goes through the back side and through aluminum tube, and the same thing on the front side. There's a screw hole right there. It just holds it together. If I turn this a certain way here, I can probably undo all the wiring a little bit, and you'll look inside. There's an Alps. I think it's a Black Beauty. Let me see here. 100K. Can't tell if it's a Black Beauty or not. It's a Japan model, so those are good. Pretty simple. Just 5 pieces of wire. Ground is shared throughout the whole chassis and on here, so you don't get any ticks and pops when you touch it. And yeah, pretty simple, but you'd be amazed. Now, another equation to this, or another drop. somebody's tried LDRs. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a light emitting resistor. So the more light it goes, the more resistance or less resistance. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've used one. Those used to be the cat's meow a long time ago. And I tried one, and they're okay, but they're a pain because you got to match them. If you don't buy a handful of them and then match them, then one LDR will be louder than the other. Thus, left channel will be louder than the other, no matter what you do, and you have to balance them out. And there's a little circuit you can do to do them, but you still need power and all that kind of stuff. I might try one maybe again, but I didn't really like it. I like this. As my dad always said to me growing up, doing audio, simple. The simple always wins. Simple in, simple out. Let's see if I can get the screw back in here. I know Dad's going to watch this video and be like, "You took it apart, you turd." But the good thing is I didn't wreck it, so I think the last time I took this apart I had to... Stubborn little thing. Did I get it? Oh, I think I got it there. Nope. Still don't got it. Anyways, I'll play that after. So, I encourage you, try a passive pot. See what kind of sound you get out of it, and go from there. I'm going to build one. I'm going to probably order myself a nice DK. I don't think Alps makes Black Beauty anymore. If you can, I did see one on eBay today. I surfed around to see if I could find one, and it was $100 plus $25 shipping. And I thought, for that price, I could buy a DACT, not a DAC, DACT with a T on the end, and do it there. But the only problem I didn't like about those is they click every time they click, and if you get crappy ones, or you get I can't remember what they're called. They're like fingers or a pad inside of them that can click, and if one is off by a little bit, one channel will go on before the other, like when you turn up the volume. With this one kind of clicks a little bit too, but this is an internal one, different. I like the smooth ones because when you turn this one click, that's one click. You can't feel it, but I can. If you have really efficient speakers, that goes up a little bit too much. Sometimes you're just sitting there listening to music and you only want it to go up just a little bit. Well, this, depending on how efficient your stereos and stuff like that, and your amplifiers and speakers all have the big match, it can be too loud. Most of the time it's not, but I found when I was riding some Planet 10 folded horn speakers, listening to my Elves with this sounded really good, amazing. Lots of detail, and it sounded really good. But the problem is if you're listening to it quietly at night and you turn up just a little bit, one click could be too loud. But that's par for the course. You can solve that by just changing it to a it's a log or not log. Can't remember. Dad told me a long time ago, and I can't remember. But you can get that, so you can go from smooth, or you can have the click inside of it. But yeah, I encourage you, go out, try even a cheap pot. You could buy Alps cheap pots with the motors on them, or take it out of an amplifier and put it into a case, or just put it on a little triangle piece of aluminum and put some RCA jacks on there and try it. Be amazed at what you get. And if you buy a cheap pot and go for an expensive one, definitely you'll hear a big difference. So give it a shot. I'm going to post a link down below, or a picture in a couple seconds here, of the one that I'm gonna get, and then I might try to find some kind of cool enclosure like this, or maybe get Dad to see if he has some more aluminum like this and make myself one, and go from there. Maybe there'll be another video coming up. So bye for now. Get out your soldering iron, get out some tools, and make one and try it. Have a good evening, guys.